Hey everybody, Alex Surgeon, HobbyTown HobbyPlex here for part 2, day 2. It's Monday, and we got pretty much all day to work. We will be doing our podcast tonight at 6:30, so I do got a bill for that, but then I'll be coming right back here to finish up the day's work. So last night we moved a lot of dirt, and we built a new up and down section. Today's focus is going to be on just getting the rest of the track layout figured out, clearing out the back straightaway, getting more of the up and downs, and then separating the kind of clumpy dirt versus the usual dirt that I use for doing jumps and stuff. So let's take a look. All right, so the HobbyPlex doesn't have a floor. It's dirt all the way down to China. There is no floor in this building, but there's still a floor of just really hard dirt that I normally don't dig into or till up, and that's kind of what I'm standing on right now. So it's kind of the same level all the way across, and the dirt that I use for the jumps, usually I can just take and scoop it and drop it, and it turns into this nice tillable, rakeable clay, and that's what we're going to be using for all of our jumps and stuff. So a lot of the dirt that I pulled from over here last night, I'll be putting underneath where there's elevation and stuff, and the first part of the jumps. And then what I do is, I'll show you guys here in a little bit, we till this dirt up and then we spread it on top so we can make our jumps. But for now, I'm just going to start going around and getting all the jumps scooped up and dumped into one big pile, just so I can see what I got. And then I'll use the clumpy dirt that hasn't been moved in a long time for a lot of these up and downs. Basically, I'm building like a base. So that's what I got so far. That's what I'm gonna be doing probably for the next couple hours, and I'll update you here in a second. Okay, guys. So what we have is we're gonna make use of the outer lane of our oval. A couple things we have to keep in mind is that the loop for counting the cars is about right here, and I want to put a series of jumps right here. So I've got my paint, and what I'm going to do is kind of gauge. That's going to be a straightaway, and you're going to come up here, turn, and go through a set. I'm thinking like a double-double, and so what I'm going to do now is kind of gauge where I want to put those. We want to keep them low. We don't want too much air over here so that nobody can jump over the loop. So I'm thinking, just looking at how this is, I think that'll be our landing, our takeoff, a landing, and a takeoff. And so what I'm doing now is just, I painted those lines so that when I grab the dirt with the bucket and I come up here, I know where I can start putting my dirt down to make these jumps. So the next thing that I got to do is really till up our dirt and get it nice and fine so that it can be raked and then eventually tamped, and we'll show you how that works. our tiller is a very useful tool for building this racetrack. We learned a long time ago that the hard surface that our track sits on, even though it's not technically a floor, it is still a floor. And we definitely don't try to till into that. I usually just put stuff into big piles, and then I can back up into it and really get it tilled up, so I can turn it into this nice tillable dirt. So when I set my jumps, it's a lot easier to get them raked out the way we want them to sit, and get it to work the way we want it to work. When they're big clods like that, all those clods get in the way, and you got to pull them all out of there, and then you're just left with a bunch of clods everywhere. So, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start setting these jumps. Okay, so we have our set of doubles here placed, and I just want to go over how we got them raked out and what we're looking for when we're looking for certain angles of jumps and stuff. So the first one, you're going to get a pretty good run up to it, and because of that, I didn't want to make the possibility, well, you never know really these days, but the temptation is going to be there to try quad this, especially the mod 4-wheel guys, maybe the 8-scale guys. So I made this fairly low, and because the dirt oval track kind of tracks down a little bit, it is angled, I wanted to keep the tops of these fairly even, so I think I still have to come through here and take a little bit off the top here and put it over here so that the very tops of them are straight up and down. The trajectory is not a real up jump, and so I've taken my rake and gone through and basically tried to keep it fairly low and flat trajectory. If you curve it up, obviously you're going to get the car to kick up more and you'll get more height. What we want is low, and so there's not a huge peak on this. When it's tamped over, this thing's going to be round. The landings, you can see, the first jump here, especially for like stock buggy, I've tried to make the landing nice and long so that it goes into the next one. And then the next one I did make slightly different. I made it a little bit more peaky, if that's a word. Might not be a word. But the second one here has a little bit more of a kick to it. Again, when this is tamped down, it will be fairly short. But mainly I did that because if you come into this one hard, over jump it, you can hit this one, almost let off the gas, and it should pop you right over, and then you should be able to go up and on your way. So you never know. You might see the mod guys try to make it a triple single, maybe, or maybe even a quad. We'll see what it's like when everything gets done. But for now, that's kind of my thought process and how I have them spaced and how I have them set up. So on to the next one. Okay, you can see I got the plate compactor out and started whacking away at the jumps, and I just want to give you guys look-see at how that goes. The cool thing about the plate tamper is you can kind of maneuver it to get the jump style that you want. So obviously this first one, how I said I wanted it flat, I kind of just let the plate tamper glide over it. But then the next one, how I wanted it a little bit more peaky. I don't know if you guys can get that on camera is good, but you kind of let the front dig in a little bit and then lift it over is how I've been doing that. And then what I like to do is kind of walk through these just like you're doing a lawnmower. So about, you do the first one, you pick a spot, and then I go all the way down, and then I come back over the exact same spot. That way, let's say like a top of a jump was kind of lumpy or out of place, that pass coming on the way back, I can kind of maneuver the plate tamper to even it out a little bit. Try to make the jumps, the top of the jumps even, otherwise the cars start doing wonky stuff. So we're going to see if we can get a view. All right, so that's all for tonight. We got a lot done today. We got a lot of the the east side of the track completed. This set of doubles, the big riser's been tamped, and the staircase behind us. Tomorrow will be a very big, fast-moving day. Basically just going to be setting and raking jumps and tamping them in, and then coming around for our second, maybe even third passes here on the on the stuff we just did today. Basically, whenever we do a big track like this, we try to put tons of water on it, and then we have to tamp it again so it gets that real sticky, smooth surface. We don't want it to break up at all, and that's what the next couple days we'll be going towards with stuff that we've already done. I did one more thing tonight. I don't know if you guys can see it behind me, but this big sweeper over here, I went ahead and knocked it out too, and then so it's ready to go. I'm pretty excited to get the next couple days done and over with so that we can go back to what we do, which is race and practice and have open track. And this one might even get painted. We'll have to talk to a buddy of mine and see, but for now I'm done talking. I appreciate you guys really tuning in for these series of videos that we're doing with the track build, and looking to show you guys the rest of it as it comes together tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe, like, tell your friends, and we'll get back to it soon.